Hello everyone, Alien Volt here, and I am playing Assassin's Creed Rogue. This is my first impressions video. Now, Assassin's Creed Rogue is a last generation game. Even though it was recently released on PC, it was actually released during the same time period as Unity. Now, the difference being is that Unity is on the new engine, and of course it looks amazing. It just didn't play so amazing. It had a lot of glitches, and could have been something to do with the fact that it was the first game on the engine, as well as Ubisoft trying to put out 2 Assassin's Creed games at the same time. The game options are pretty typical of what you would find on a PC game. Video effects, even though you might want to set them to overall quality of very high, you can still go in and kind of change some settings. I usually max everything completely out, especially games like this that are run on an older engine. Maxing them out is pretty common. The rest of the settings are pretty much exactly what you would expect. You've got mouse sensitivities, as well as sound and controls. You can pretty much map everything. Now, you may not want to remap everything. I personally go in and I remap a couple keys, not much. But as you see here, everything's pretty standard. Now, one of the things I normally do is I turn down the music volume, and there's 2 reasons why I do that. One is because the music volume can somewhat be overpowering sometimes, and 2, because YouTube will usually pick up on music that's in the game and send you a copyright notice. So I try to avoid that by either turning off the music altogether, like I have to with Star Wars: The Old Republic, to just turning it down so I can cover it up with other music I add in my videos later. Alright, now if you don't know much about Assassin's Creed Rogue, there is a twist to this game. You actually start off as an assassin, and then because of plot and character choices you make in the game, you end up becoming a Templar. Well,
stay my blade from the flesh.
At first, if you're an Assassin's Creed fan, you may say, well, why would I want to do that? In all the games, I've done nothing but kill Templars. But they do a really good job, and I mean a really good job, of making you feel the choices and decisions that you make as your character progresses, and you can see why he does what he does. It's not out of malice, it's not out of revenge, it's not, you know, something that he does because he's a traitor, it's not for money. There are good reasons for what he does. And as you play through, you'll see that.
This is my
the gameplay is very similar to the other Assassin's Creed games, especially not Unity, but previously, like Assassin's Creed 3 and 4. The character movement, and 4 especially. Again, here you will use dual weapons like you do in Black Flag. Now, you will notice that the actual graphics on this, I feel, are an improvement over Black Flag. Not tremendously, but just enough that you can tell the difference.
Admit it.
Of course, you have nowhere near the fidelity that you do in Unity.
And besides, no.
Now, I personally believe if they would have flip-flopped these dates and released Unity now and Rogue back in November on PC, you would have had a better game for PC. You wouldn't have had all the problems, they would have sold more copies, the game would have done much better.
Let's head back.
I mean, they're just now fixing Unity. They obviously needed more time in development.
Come on. Captain Deliverant.
And whether or not they put that in the Rogue, or whether it would have been something that could have been ready at launch, they've definitely done a good job for this. This game runs great. I haven't had really any problems at all, with the exception of a couple times I've jumped off buildings to leap towards another obstacle like a cliff and ended up inside of the map, inside of the rock, and I was stuck. So what I had to do was just basically port to another location and come back.
Keeping an eye on you in case you fall down and hurt yourself.
Now, it's not common, but it did happen to me twice while playing. Outside of that, the game runs really good. It feels good. The movement feels fluid.
Hurry.
I think you'll really like it. Now, this does have some areas that are very familiar with Unity. For instance, like this cathedral. Now, this one happens to be in Spain, I believe. Or, actually, no, I think it's Portugal. But it looks very similar to what you find in Unity. But not only that, you've got a lot of areas across the United States, at least the 13 original colonies, including New York, which was kind of unique and fun to go around, especially in the colonial period, because it was nothing like it is today. As well as you've got a lot of islands and ocean exploration. And the great part is you can jump in your ship and go attack other ships anytime you want. It's not just during missions, it's just pretty much free roaming. So the game itself, I almost feel, is much larger than Unity, because there just seems to be a lot more to do. Now, Rogue may not be setting any graphical records, you know, the engine is obviously in its last stages, but the game is where it needs to be. It plays where a game of this caliber should play upon release. I mean, this is what we expect games to be at when they're released. No bugs, no errors, no glitches. The game runs good, it plays good. We're not getting constant crashes. I mean, honestly, when I play Black Flag, I have more bugs and problems with Black Flag in the first 30 minutes of gameplay than I've had in this entire game. This game runs really good. It's just too bad they didn't set the standard, or at least hold to the standard, before releasing a game every single time. Will it be something that brings back the loyalty, you know, to Ubisoft, customer expectation and faith, and them producing a good game? I don't know. They have a track record for releasing games unfinished. Hopefully, that's going to change. They put a lot of money into games like Unity, and when it doesn't sell enough copies, they don't make their money back. Well, that sets a standard. Hey, something needs to change. And hopefully it does. I came really close to not buying this, especially after as bad as Unity was. And it's not just that it had a lot of glitches and problems, it's just that it really wasn't optimized for PC. Not at all. It's like they put out this copy that looked really amazing, but if you didn't have a high-end system, you weren't running it. And that was too bad, because I know there were a lot of people that wanted to play Unity, a lot of people that had expectations to play Unity, and even though their computer systems were better than a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, power-wise, you know, the ability to process graphics at a higher level, they didn't optimize the game for that. So rather than doing that and saying, here, we want to make sure everyone can play our game, it looks amazing, it plays amazing, here it is, they just released a copy that was unpolished, unfinished, and said, well, you know, people with high-end systems should be able to run it. If you don't have at least this system requirements, then don't bother. Problem was so many people pre-ordered the game. And that happens a lot when you set up pre-orders for games without any type of system requirements. People expect to be able to play it. Especially when they're already playing games like, say, Alien Isolation. That's a great looking game. In fact, it's probably one of the better looking games I think I've ever played. Yet, it can be played on a medium system, where Unity couldn't. Rogue, however, can, and it plays really good. In fact, I don't think I have any complaints with Rogue whatsoever. I can honestly say I recommend this game without any hesitation. For anyone, fans of the game series or people who have never played it before. It's a very good game. It has a really good tutorial system set up, not only for just basic movement, but for combat, teaching you how to play the game. They've done a phenomenal job at this game. Everything is really fun, even the ship battles. It's easy to get the hang of, and I've really enjoyed it. I just wish they would have taken the time to develop Unity that they obviously put into Rogue. I mean, here they've taken a game that's built on the same engine as Black Flag. Not only were they able to make it look better, but it just plays a lot better. Had Unity been this good upon release, it would have been a star player for them, because it's a really good game. It's just too bad they didn't put the time to polish it like they obviously put in the Rogue. I mean, this is just a really good game. Alright, well, I'm going to end this video here. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.